Alrighty. So here we are back playing some more Tropico 6, and I am feeling rather quite energized today, so I want to try and get a lot of stuff done, and I think the primary focus of today's video is actually going to be setting up a lot of industry. I think that's going to be important. We can just, deal with it, and then hopefully we never really have to deal with it too much more as time goes on. That would be pretty nice, and I think... Let me think here. I do kind of want an area that's like just dedicated to cutting down trees. Maybe we make like over here on this little backside, just an area for trees. We could probably get in like at least 8 logging camps. I'm thinking we could probably get away with 12. I reckon 12 would be pretty good. So let's actually set this up now. And then all over the entire island, we don't really need to ever worry about that ever again. And we can just focus on like building up all sorts of other really interesting stuff, and hopefully we'll never really run out of wood. So let's set this up here, and then I suppose we can just do it straight out the backside over here. Or really anywhere will work. That seems fine. Connect on up this road to here. And what I want to do is actually go and get these logging camps. I don't want to do them like 2 like this, and then 2 like that. And then we can do the same sort of thing here. Something like that. And then I'm thinking here as well. And then we can do a road right on down to here like that. And then over to here, and then just drag a road down on this way. And then drag a road on over to here. Perfect. I like that. Doesn't look too amazing, but now we never really have to worry about wood ever again. The only thing is that I don't really want to build into this area too much. We might put like a little housing, maybe like a little small like settlement type area out there, but for now we'll leave that as is. Cool. Let's try and find any other logging camps.
Why our great...
We can just start demolishing these now. Did I think I might have demolished all the other ones besides literally just that one. So we might have been struggling for logs for a while there. Maybe not. Can't quite remember. Wow, look at that. We're making a lot of money. And it'd be really nice once that's like pushed up to the absolute limit. And I also want to get these and make sure we try and get all of the materials out of those deposits, right? Like, as you can see, we're like, what is that? A sixth of the way through this gold deposit. Almost a quarter of the way, probably around a sixth through this coal deposit. Same thing here. Nickel. A lot of iron here. This is a lot of iron, and so I'm kind of thinking maybe we just... Well, I'm not too sure. I don't mind, like, chiseling all the way through these deposits as quickly as possible, though. And just simply selling off all of the goods. Okay. So now, you know what, let's... we don't want to quick build too much. We want to try and get a lot of people onto the island as quickly as possible. So getting, like, housing quality up, that sort of thing's going to be probably pretty important. We can do a nuclear power plant, I think. Let's see if we can find uranium on our island. That would be pretty good. Ooh, we can do a uranium mine here. I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's do a double uranium mine. Something like that. Let's quick build both of these. Let's max out their budgets and then just simply hire in a bunch of foreign workers for this. Decrease pollution, more electricity. That seems fine, and then we can put down a nuclear power plant, at least for now, and then later on we'll try and do something a bit more environmentally friendly with our electricity production. I'm kind of thinking we should do sort of how we're doing like just logging in this area. We should find another like smaller area to sort of put down like a lot of electricity in the form of lots of wind turbines and solar power plants. I think those two will be pretty good. And then we also want to make sure that we're producing as much electricity from the waste treatment facilities as we possibly can. That'll be quite nice. Cool, cool, cool. So we should have uranium production up.
Listen, Presidente. My friend and I are like peas in a pod. I'm just the bigger pea.
I do like the idea of the Caribbean Trade Pact Association, so we probably will set this up relatively soon. But back to this industrial zone, what I'm kind of thinking is, what if we just leave this one as is, right? So everything that we're pretty much producing right now, what if we make that pretty much like just the entirety of it, right? So two rum distilleries, 2 tanneries, a furniture factory, a shipyard, and then 2 lumber mills. And I think we'll try, maybe we'll push it just like until this area is completely full, right? With as many industry buildings as we can fit here. And what else I'm thinking is, what if we do all of the goods produced here with hydroponic plantations and factory ranches as well? So let's unlock these, and let's do some corn plantations, because undoubtedly we're going to need sort of a lot of these. So let's do 2 corn plantations there. It's also probably going to be a good idea to make sure that we're setting up our waste treatment facilities as smartly as possible. So let's put one, like, we want to make sure that we're covering the entire island with these, like everywhere we want one. I'd rather not have too much pollution on our island at all. So let's do one there, I think. No pollution on the island means that everyone's going to be healthier, less people will die over the course of time, and things will just be better. So we have 2 there, 2 there. And so ideally, maybe here's a good spot. And I want to try and make sure that we're going to cover up our entire industrial zone. So maybe another one here, and then we'll just do one there. Wait. I'd rather make sure that we're covering both of these industry buildings, which means annoyingly we are going to have to put one here. Cool. Not too bad. And so now pollution in our entire industrial zone should be okay. We're producing corn. The reason we want to produce corn first off is because we're going to need corn for factory ranches, right? So with the corn, then we can do some sugar plantations. Probably going to want to do 2 of these, and hopefully that's enough sugar for 2 rum distilleries. We might have to up that a little bit. And then in the very least 1 factory ranch set to cattle. But we might do more. Just have to see. So let's do 1 here, and that might be enough. And with that, we should be able to demolish this entire sugar plantation area over here, alongside pretty much all of the cattle ranches. We do want to keep them around for... Actually, we don't need them. We're not going to need them anymore after this. Cool. Happy meat levels up. No electricity here, and it might strictly be because we don't have a substation. Yes. So we do need a substation around here somewhere. And I think that this is as good a spot as any. Maybe we'll end up moving it with time. And we are out of electricity, which is a bit of a problem. Let's go ahead and research the... what's it called now? Waste treatment facility. Reason being is that once these are fully up and running, we can have them produce electricity for us. Maybe not a lot at first, but as time goes on, we will start to produce a lot of electricity. Maybe not a lot. We'll just have to see. Either way, dual purpose electricity and what's it called? Just not having pollution, which is always going to be really nice. And so I do want to focus on getting our happinesses up. Fun happiness is really low, so let's go ahead and sort of build up this area here, and then I want to do more restaurants. So this is going to be the main road, and so I want to start getting rid of all of these with a little bit of time here. Kind of just corn, rubber.
Number 421.
Corn, we'll leave the corn, and then I want to demolish up all of this, and we just need to start doing a lot of... There's so much stuff that I need to get done, but not like an infinite amount of time to do it. We only have so much time for each episode, so let's do this here. Go ahead and quick build it. Then we can max out the production for that. 40 megawatts. So let's wait until our nuclear power plant's finished. And we're just going to want more buildings like restaurants. Mainly restaurants, though. Restaurants are going to be really, really useful because they're going to increase the food quality, which will be really nice. Parking deck there. Let's do another restaurant over here. I think that'll be a good spot. And then we just want some more entertainment. Maybe we do a casino for our population. We did the nightclub. Whoa, we're starting to use a lot of electricity. Hopefully it's not because... Yeah, no one wants to work in this. That is a shame. We can do central air conditioning, and hopefully that'll get people to actually want to work in this building a little bit more. Because it's going to push the job quality up to 60. But for the time being... it would be nice to hire in people. But the freighter just left. And there's like a lot of interesting stuff that I want to do with trade routes and stuff, but before we get into that, it'll be really important to get our production completely under control here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hire in workers. A bit of a shame. We can't really do adequate planning without knowing if we're going to need more electricity or not, so we're not losing a lot of money at all either. That's really, really cool. So every single month we're just pretty much, like, our money's almost going up every single month, and then every time that a freighter shows up we make a lot of money. So pretty much we're in like the golden zone where we'll never really run into issues with it. Electricity, we're still just barely under, but I believe some of these are done, so we can do refuse incineration. Cool. And so let's see how much electricity we're up to. Plus 54, that's not bad at all. And then we can do solar panel windows for this place, another 30 for us. And we want to drag down the budget just by one step there. Cool. So we're up to 75, that's not bad. And we're going to want to make sure that everyone gets a high school education. Let's do interactive education. And let's also change these to support public services, both of the libraries. Now, where did I set up the other high school? Here, cool. So, library and high school take up an entire city block, which I think is pretty nice. Bring up the budget there. Second shift for those. And not live and let live, but always on duty. Check in on the population. Check in on wealth.
What did he mean by that?
Mine workers.
Nice weather.
Plantation worker.
That looks nice.
If someone works on a parking deck and they're poor, we have to fire them. Well off. Well off. Poor. 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 Yeah, I mean, a little bit of money for additional camera surveillance. I think that's fine. Cool. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who's the rich people, huh?
I am sorry, not
The
today,
office
please.
workers. They're making 20, so let's drag that down just a little bit.
Hola.
Casino worker, huh? Oh, he's making 26. Okay, let's drag that down. Casinos have to stay in the middle now.
Hola, how are you today?
Nuclear power plant worker, which has to go... Oof, even on the lowest budget. These guys are still making too much money. Not a lot that we can do about that right now. We're going to leave it running for the time being. And let's actually test out what a solar power plant will do. Just for now. Just quick build it on up. Just to see. Ooh, okay, so on the lowest budget, they're doing alright. I think that's fine. Sadly, this building doesn't have road access, which means that we probably would want to build a parking deck next to it, but we'll just leave it for now. They'll have to walk all the way out here probably.
Presidente, have you seen the people who...
Speedway, I kind of like that idea. Let's actually go ahead and do that now then. Just because everyone's driving, so might as well make them drive just a little bit quicker. Modern times, research it. And let's turn it on. Turn it
I
on.
have heard it's
Cool. Sit here and think about what else we can do. Yeah, so anyone taking Social Security will be poor. So we are going to have to get all of our wages up on the island. That'll be pretty important as time goes on. Cool, cool, cool. Things are looking good. Just checking. We don't want anyone else to be rich.
let me be.
College. Okay, cool. So the second to lowest budget on the college.
Ah,
High
what a day.
working in the library. We need to drag that down just a little bit. And we only have
Anything
one rich person left, and she works in the nuclear power plant. And she's not married, so that's fine. I think that's totally a-okay. Parking deck workers, mine workers, plantation, tourist port.
May I help you?
Just make sure that's maxed out.
You look kinda
Theater
familiar.
worker.
Busy,
Lumber
busy.
mill worker. And so it's stuff like this. We'd want to bump this up until they get a wage as close to 20 as possible. And we want to make sure to do that all over the entire island. Get it up, you know, above 15 is where I'd be happy. For all of the different wages
The
and stuff.
citizens are demanding.
Fun, happiness, praise the communists, blame no one, promise nothing.
I came to see you as soon as I found these were available, Presidente. What do you think?
Tannery workers. Furniture factory workers. Shipyard workers. Yeah, it's just a shame that we have 134 vacant jobs and we don't really have the population to support all that. So we're technically losing like a lot of money. Increase upkeep by 10. Yeah, that's fine. If there's a small probability that we won't have to deal with what's it called, like foreign spies and that sort of thing, that'll be good. It would also be really nice to actually get the religious faction a bit happier with us. So let's actually go and research religion and state, and then by researching it we can change the constitution to a theocracy, and this will increase the religious faction standing by 10. And then furthermore, something that we can do, just because there's not a lot of ways to increase the religious faction standing, we can actually put down the childhood park or whatever this building's called. I'm thinking this can be one of the buildings that we'll have hang out right in the middle of our square, and I'm thinking that it's almost time to put up what's it called, all the squares here. Like this, I wanted to like square this up for a while and I never really got around to it. We could put up an aqua park. That could be kind of cool, I think. Just like a pool hanging out over here. Yeah, I mean, I think that is something that could go in our park and it would make it look kind of nice. So now I want to do something sort of neat. Let's actually cancel you. And let's actually move it over just a tad bit. That's what I'm thinking. And in doing so, we get the squares in each of these spots here, and we can do something like, thinking maybe this. I think that's fine. And then let's try and put in some of each of the bigger and cooler parks. Maybe like something like this. I think that looks good. Space Memorial Park would be cool to fit in, but we don't really have the space for that. Ooh, we actually kind of do right here, but I think that's a bit over the top. Do we have a 3x3 somewhere? No. We can make one though. Cancel you again. Hopefully the dogs again aren't being too loud in the background. They like making a lot of noise, but they're dogs, so, you know, it's what they're gonna do. I kind of like the idea of this, but I don't know exactly where I want to put it. I think here would be fine, and then we can just do something like that, I think, and then we can fit something perhaps a bit more intricate in here. Then again, we could also just do this. I think this just for simplicity's sake for right now. And then I'm kind of thinking these two like this. And then this like this. And then we have 1 2x1 here. Perhaps we do something like that. I think that looks fine. Surrounding the church, probably a good idea to do something like this. I think that'll be okay. And over here we can just put in like a 2x4. Or 2 2x1s. We could even do that, and then on the other side do this. I think that looks really quite perfect. Look at that. Now we have our central square finished, and I do kind of want to surround this perhaps with a couple of skyscrapers. We'll probably end up moving the embassy. I mean, undoubtedly we're going to move the embassy. Then we can put like skyscrapers over there perhaps. Probably get rid of this clinic and just do another hospital somewhere else. Put in a skyscraper here. Get rid of these houses and stuff here. Skyscraper there. Maybe move the nightclub, maybe? Or just put some skyscrapers behind it. I want this to be like skyscrapered up a bit around our main square. I think that'll make it look a lot more neat. Cool, cool, cool. Ambulance treatment. So let's go ahead and quick build the childhood museum. And what we can do is actually research this building. Childhood museum, I think, is Cold War. And with this, we can do religious fostering. If we look at the second blue, no, the very last sentence, religious have a constant standing bonus of 15 on base efficiency. Right, and so there's that. But then again, we could also do militarist, environmentalist, industrialist, the intellectuals. Now we'll do the religious fostering. That's probably fine. Cool. So now if we come and look at the religious faction, we're up to 60 with them, 91 with the communist faction, and we need to start pushing everyone towards the environmentalist faction, which we already are doing, by the way, with all of our radio stations. So that's pretty cool. And we can get a sense of what exactly we're covering. Almost everything. You can see we have one here, 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 here. Pretty much everything. Yes, that's really, really quite cool. So one more here, and then over here we'd want one as well. Of course, that just makes sense. Let's actually do that now. Worry about it less. Quick build up both of those. And we want to max out the budgets on all of our logging cams. Max out the budgets on these. Change these to radio now. Environmentalist. Yes, that's what we wanted. Get music all day. I mean, whatever. Cool. So now everyone should be being moved towards the environmentalist faction, which is great. And I kind of want to move everyone towards the intellectual faction. I think that'll be pretty cool. But then again, we're not relying solely on theaters, unlike the last communist island that I did. And relying mainly on theaters was really nice. I think we're actually over the amount of population that I had on that island. But relying solely on theaters was really nice because we could change this to the improv theater work mode, which decreases the fee. And everyone was in the poor class, so, you know, everyone could afford a theater. And then with this work mode, everyone who's a part of the intellectual faction, when they visit the theater on this work mode, there was a chance that the standing with the intellectual faction would go up. And because everyone was visiting these buildings and everyone was intellectuals, that would happen pretty frequently. And so we had a 100% standing with the intellectuals. So maybe we do conservatives with this one. The conservative faction, there's a number of pretty decent bonuses that we can do. Good old days. Decreases intellectual standing by 15, which, you know, we're not going with the intellectual faction, whatever. But then it gives a 10-point bonus to the conservative faction and a 10-point bonus to the religious faction, which are two that we're going with, so that's pretty good. Downside, we can't do mandatory waste sorting, or maybe we can. Maybe this doing good old days and mandatory waste sorting kind of goes hand in hand, like ups and downs, but ultimately netting benefits. That could be pretty nice. Let's see what else we are thinking about. Contraception ban increases religious standing by 25, decreases intellectual standing by 20, but we get a big boost to the birth rate. Probably not too important. Decreases conservative standing, decreases religious standing. Decreased conservative standing by 25. That's insane. Cultural diversity. Let's look at what else we got going on here. Cult Anonymous. This is a DLC thing, and I didn't notice that for a long time. Whenever uneducated Tropicans rest, they have a 25% chance to shift their political views towards the conservative faction. Citizens living within the area of influence of a media building with the open mind or telenovela work mode are not affected. So we can just push everyone towards the conservative faction with this, but let's see. What else do we have? We should probably let the game play in the background while that's happening. The right to arms, that's not the conservative faction. Prohibition is nice because we get a 10% efficiency bonus to all of our buildings, but it's going to make all entertainment buildings quite a bit worse, so probably not worth it in the end. Literacy program, I mean, we should do that right now, because in doing so, this is going to allow us to get a lot more educated people a lot quicker. Agricultural subsidies could be good, but definitely not too important. Cool stuff. So now we have the corn plantations here. We can bump up all the hydroponic plantations to the maximum, and that's fine. And then these sugar plantations, the reason I wanted two was, of course, because, you know, we need sugar to produce the rum. But on top of that, we can get, because there's two of them, they can influence both of our corn plantations, which is quite nice. With their upgrades, fiber fertilization, which gives a 10-point bonus up to 20-point bonus to efficiencies of nearby any plantation will work, but specifically these two. So as we can see, 145 efficiency on the max budget, which is pretty good. Selective breeding, that's going to be up to another 20, so 165% efficiency on these two corn plantations. So these two are worth more than 3 if they were at 100% efficiency. So that's pretty good. Green waste chopper. Might as well get this upgrade here. And then what about here? Yes. Same thing here.
Presidente, you must have...
We'll build another high school, so go ahead and do that. Another green waste chopper. And then factory ranch. Veterinary vaccination. Seems fine. Manure fertilizer. Yeah, let's grab that. 10-point bonus to these nearby hydroponic plantations. All fine and dandy. So now we're producing lots of sugar. 3480. 3480. So we're going to need 2 more sugar plantations, right? But then again, this is at 90% efficiency. And 145 times 2 is 290. 290% efficiency compared to 290s. 290. So we're at over 3. And we're going to need 4. So we need at least one more.
I'd like to think that we're...
One more sugar plantation in the very least. Let's go ahead and do that now. Kind of like the idea of it going here. Like that's a decent spot for it. Sort of out of the way, but still being affected by all sorts of stuff. So max out the budget there, and we can change this to fiber fertilization again. This gives... So these 2 sugar plantations could only affect each other once, but with this third one in, we can now affect all of them twice, and they're all getting the maximum efficiency bonus. As you can see, it's up to 155 now. So that's quite good. Green waste chopper here. Cool. 155, 155. Why is this one 145? Influence budget. Influence budget. Why are you lower? 20, 25. 25, 30. Oh, it's because of factory wrench. Okay. Yeah. Let's max out the budgets on these as well. Industrial livestock farming, almost adequate. Light and stun, increases efficiency, decreases job quality, increases job quality. And that all seems good to me. So now, big thing, hides, 9280. 4640, which means that this one single factory ranch should be able to provide enough hides for both of these tanneries. I'm not sure if I pronounced that all correctly, but this one single factory ranch should provide enough hides for 2 tanneries, right? But then again, we're at 150% efficiency there. And as long as we have more than 115, then I'm confident that this will be fine. So that's all looking good. So that means we can destroy the entire sugar plantation. So let's demolish all of that. That's freeing up a lot of jobs as well. And then we can do the entire cattle ranch industry that we had. No longer need this. No longer need the old manure spreaders. And then wherever the sugar plantation is around here, we can demolish that up as well, which is here. No longer need this cattle ranch. We can keep the corn for right now, and then we'll keep the food. Let's demolish the rubber. Let's demolish the pineapples, the cocoa, the coffee, the cotton, tobacco. Cool. So there goes everything. And I also do kind of want to produce all the different food types, like at least one of each. Probably be a good idea. Numbers are looking good, hopefully. 115, 49, 60. 125, 30, 72. So this means that 2 logging camps should adequately fulfill 1 lumber mill, right? And we have 12. And it's 2 for 1. So that means we should be able to fit in 6 lumber mills in the end. Maybe we'll give that a bit of time. But in the very least, let's go ahead and, well, let's look at jobs. Yeah, we have a lot of unemployed now after we destroyed all of those previous jobs. So we'll give it a bit of time for them to sort of figure out what they want to spend their time doing. Let's look around. Things are looking good. Yes, and so this is technically how I wanted things to turn out here. Drive down the main road. Drive into the center square. From here, we kind of want to control where everything's going, right? And so what I'm kind of thinking is, what if we actually destroy these roads, just like right here?
Nothing says security like a well-funded army, Presidente. The border.
What if we like destroy just the ends of these roads and put parks here instead, just like how we did here? As long as the main road like is disconnected, and the main reason that I kind of want to do that is just so that we keep people on the main roads as much as possible, and then only kind of let them in much less frequently than
Sure the good citizens.
every single like intersection like this. It's just, maybe I'm getting a bit too overzealous with it, honestly. It'll probably be fine in the end. Just want to keep trying to get our happinesses to go up. Fun happiness is still low. Let's max out the budgets on these. Freezer upgrades for all of those. We're probably having too many people visit, what's it called, our population's fun happiness buildings, because we don't have enough for the tourist. And so that's probably like the main issue right now. Tourist only. So it's probably going to be, well, it's definitely going to be a really good idea to set up more fun happiness buildings for the tourists to visit so that they don't, you know, bother our population too much. Let's do one of each of these nightclubs. And then let's do another casino this time over here, I would say. Probably do it right here. Let's go and do a beach resort for the tourists to visit. Ooh, there's a perfect spot for one. What else do we want to do? Let's do a restaurant for each of the islands as well. Thinking that seems fine. Creating a bunch of money printers, so I'm fine quick building all of this. We can change this because it's going to be for tourists only. We can actually research the restaurants, and specifically this one, we don't want to change it to all you can eat for, or the kids menu for like our population, right? Just because it'll be decreasing a lot of people's job quality. But because this one's for tourist only, if we look at the income 105, if we do kids menu now, it's 131, which is, you know, like 20 something more dollars per visit from every tourist, and so that's just a really good upgrade for, or well, work mode specifically for a restaurant set for tourist. Anything else, like if it's for our population, then we'll just leave it. Can we max out the budgets on these? We can. Cool. Laser shows. Let's go ahead and grab that. 45,000, but I mean, we make so much money anyways. Ooh, you know what? Is it double or nothing? Upkeep the fee and the wages. Okay. So if we max out the budget here, that's 93 service quality for 13. Here we're getting 75. So let's not do double or nothing. Let's do fair play.
Election is a landslide, President.
Theocracy.
The metaphorical kind, not the kind that accidentally reduces the
Now we
size
can
of the
max out the
workforce.
budgets on fair play, and we get a higher service quality. Okay, that makes sense then. Tourist only. Tourist only. We also have a beach resort here. Max out the budget. Open doors seems fine. Automated beach cleaner seems like a good pickup there. Alright, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. So now let's make some stuff for our population to enjoy. Could probably get away with doing yet another funfair pier, this time for our population, of course. Flip it around. Ooh, that would be really cool if it was like right next to this, but I'm content with this, I suppose. And I don't want to do another, what's it called, parking deck too close, so we'll just leave this looking like that. And we can max out the budget, extra round, more light, I guess concrete piers, I mean, why not? That seems okay. I feel like a lot of people don't want to work in the entertainment industry is like kind of what our issue is right now. So let's actually change the immigration office to skilled workers. Go ahead and research that on up. Getting more skilled workers in, you know, of course, we're going to need a lot of them. Things are looking good. How many people? No one's graduated from this high school. Or this high school. What is this? It's on 171% efficiency. And no one's graduated ever. How long have we had this building for? We've had it for like a while, I think, too. That's absurd. Perhaps with more time. It's only 1922. That's pretty good. As for the offices, oh, look at that. It's making $1,000 a month. That's so good. What about our college? No one's even enrolled in the college. That's insane. Let's look at vacant jobs. Yeah, a lot of high school jobs that require a high school education. Almost everyone is employed, which is good. And we have a number of poor people, so let's see if we can start dealing with that. Max out budgets.
May
Logging
just
camp
squeeze past, please.
workers. Max out budgets. Tourist port workers. I believe that's already
How are you
maxed
today?
out. Yes. Parking
Can I
deck
go get
worker.
something?
He is poor fire. Poor fire. Poor fire. Poor fire. Well off leave. Poor fire. Well off. Yeah, it sucks so bad that we can't specifically choose like a certain group of people or like certain people to work in certain buildings. If I could do that, then we would never have issues with these
Mobile
parking
phone.
decks.
Modern miracle? Public nuisance? Or a cause of cancer? Let Canal Uno know your opinion. Call it now.
Oh no. Aqua Parks only give a wage of $9 a month, so we are going to have to demolish this. Increases job quality and the fee. One-time standing with the environmentalist faction. Children care, increase fee by 100, service quality by 10. Man, that sucks so bad. We can't increase the fee of this building further. And I think a movie theater gives a max wage of only $9 a month as well. I mean, we'll build it real quick and see. Demolish you. Rather get this out of the way now then. Go ahead and quick build you. Oh, 12. That's good. That's good then. Let's actually rotate it. I want it this way.
Presidente, all my undocumented...
Level up the speedway edict. And I think this looks like a pretty snazzy little part of the city. Just with, you know, we have the movie theater here and then a cabaret right across the street. I just think it looks pretty neat. At least the idea behind it. Let's look at more happinesses. Fun happiness, hopefully we're getting that scope. And then faith happiness. What I do want to check out is what is a cathedral going to give us? And you know what? We can probably get rid of this banana and this corn now. And look at that. No production issues. That's really, really good. Well, as I say that, right? Hides. Plenty of hides here. Cool. So hopefully things continue to run well. Maybe we'll try and overproduce a little bit. That'll probably solve up some issues. Then we can do this road all the way down to here, then here to there, here to there, here to there, here to there, here to there. Cool. And so now leading from our main road, we can start setting up more stuff all throughout here. What I'm kind of thinking is, what if we sort of do like just a normal little downtown area over here, starting out with a cathedral right as it turns towards more of like a municipal area over there. So we'll do the church here, I would say. Can road down like this. Ooh, lines up pretty good. So we'll have the church here, and I guess a radio station on that corner. And then we can do perhaps another hospital. Probably a good idea. And then what would probably work pretty well here is yet another parking deck. Quick build that on up. Let's go and quick build the cathedral and the hospital. I mean, why not? Max out the budgets, upgrades. Don't want to max out the budgets here. So 18, and we're getting 65 service quality, which isn't too terrible, you know. 64 from the church. So a little bit more here. Done in confessionals seems fine. The cathedral has a 5%. Service quality decreased by 15. Service quality decreased by 10. Okay, so that is pretty much all we're getting. So cathedrals, we can use them. Good to know. Hospital, can also use hospitalization wing. 81 service quality, really good. Oh, you know what? I just realized, this is what I was thinking about whenever I was like pondering the childhood museum. Religious fostering, this is a dual purpose. It's really, really good. Increases the approval of visiting citizens, increases efficiency of all public service buildings by 5%. Huge. So anything in the public services. So all of this gets a 5% bonus. Really, really cool. So our hospitals, waste treatment facilities we're using, the fire stations, which isn't too important, cathedrals, clinics, all these sort of things get a 5% bonus. And so I was going to pick up that bonus anyways. But now that we're doing this for the religious faction as well, it's really quite nice. Let's do these two here. Let's do this here. Kind of wish that I would have moved this hospital back a little bit, but I suppose it's fine. 102% efficiency is cool. And then what else do we want to do? Perhaps another cabaret, but this one a bit down the street from the, what's it called? Let's do a theater here as well. And then let's do a restaurant. I want the cabaret a bit down the street from the church, not right next to it. That looks good. Public services. What about a waste treatment facility? Whoa. Wrong buttons. Wrong button again. And I'm thinking really anywhere. Well, we're just gonna have to move this radio station at the end of the day. That's fine though, I'd say. Here seems like a good spot. Sort of behind the cathedral seems okay. Waste treatment facility. Let's move this one here. Yeah, that seems fine. Gonna quick build it. And decrease the budget by 1. Refuse incineration. Cool, cool, cool. We're out of electricity, which is... It feels like it's been a while since that happened to us. Hire in 2 workers for that. Like fine. College worker here.
I'd like to think that we're...
What's up with our population? Filthy rich people. Criminal radio station worker.
Oh, easy these days.
An Italian criminal. Interesting.
So good to see you.
United Kingdom radio host. So yeah, this little family here, man, they are filthy rich. Which isn't what we want to see happen, right? Nuclear power plant workers.
I'm being watched.
Oh, that's not good at all. Hopefully we can deal with that as time goes on. Look at that, every single person's well off. That's what we want to see. Pretty much the entire bar being green. And I'm giving it some thought. If I would have thought about it more since the beginning, I would have done it differently. Truth be told, I hate to admit it, I wouldn't have done this layout here with all of the roads like this. And instead I would have done just like massive blocks where people would walk all up and down them, right? Instead, I don't want to have to go through and like reorganize everything. I mean, I could, but I would have done massive city blocks. Maybe we'll come back and do a third communist island run at some point and do it like this, but it would have been just nothing but parks all throughout the middle, and then like skyscraper apartment complexes all on the edges with offices and that sort of thing. And there would have been almost no driving, just like service vehicles. And the reason is that we would have been able to get away with... We would have been able to have gotten away with metro stations. And I don't want to do this now because we've already invested so much time and effort into vehicle infrastructure. But if we would have done that, then we would have had... It just would have been easier to control. I'm like 50-50 on whether or not I should. I mean, we could. We could do it. Do I do it is the question. I mean, we have $250,000, so I could get away with moving every building around. And I do plan on destroying all of the housing anyways. You know what? Let's do it, but let's do it slowly, bit by bit. So we'll do 2 blocks wide like this. And then 4, so... like that. That seems fine. So this means that we can just demolish up all of the parking decks. And this also means that we can turn off free wheels. Alright, but this also means that I'm going to have to start building up metro stations relatively quickly. Alright, so in doing all of this, it's probably going to be a good idea to start out with reorganizing and sort of making our first like major block here. Then let's do a theater. Perhaps like this? No, I kind of have another idea. What if we do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Okay. Kind of ashamed to have realized this so late into it, but I mean, it's just going to be so much better if I set it up like this, honestly. All right, and so now we're going to have a lot more control over keeping certain people in, well, keeping everyone within the well-off bracket. We can almost do, well, now there's no jobs, I don't think, that provide a poor wage. We were just, like, being really held back by all of the parking decks, and the bigger I built up this island, the more we were going to have, the more families would be poor, the more annoying it would be in the end, right? And so now we can guarantee, in the very least, a wage in the well-off budget, no matter what, which is great. So now, all we need is, I think, just one of these. And then we can also sort of demolish up all these parks. Guarantee that the waste treatment facility is sort of in the center of the block. Let's do one there. We'll put more in as we need them. Okay. It's all looking quite good to me. Now we need to start reorganizing in terms of getting the police station set up a bit better. So I'm thinking here. And then let's go ahead and set up our first modern apartments. We could do... Ooh, this could look pretty good. Cool. Solar panel windows. And then we can just max out the budgets there. We actually probably don't even fully need to with metro stations. And look at that. Wage of $10 a month. And 2 workers. Great. Decrease negative crime safety impact. On top of that, these metro stations are going to give housing bonuses to all of the residential buildings. So we're up to 110. And then furthermore, we can even do something that I sort of talked about at the beginning of the episode, and there was actually a comment. Someone was wondering if I was going to put more fire stations. And my answer was probably. Strictly for this reason here, which is to get the fire stations with a work mode. Cat and tree, which will increase the residential buildings efficiencies just a bit further. So let's go and find those. I think it's Cold War, yeah, fire station. Cat and trees. So now what are we up to? 104 on this budget here. Well, 96. I'm content with that, honestly. 96. And we're going to be netting some pretty decent money off of it as well. Okay, so there's that. And then let's simply go through and demolish up all of this housing. As well as those parks. Cool. Let's move in a hospital over here as well. Kind of thinking we can do... Let's do this one here. And then... Let's move in the cabaret. We'll do this one over here. I see the vision for how I want this to look. Oh, just like this. I think this would be perfect. That right there seemed perfect. Because what I'm thinking is we can do a park here. And then we can do another modern apartment here. And then we can do another modern apartment here. And then we can park up the rest of this. Parks all through this little zone here. So 90% of the population should be walking in the end. Cool. Solar panel. Solar power plant. Just because, you know, you say solar and then usually what comes after the word solar is panel. So I always say solar panel power plant is what I want to say, but it's just objectively incorrect. Cool, so that's all looking good. Let's move in this. There's something I was thinking about here. What was it? Let me just do the theater here for now, I would say. Could do this. Then again, we could do this. I like that. And we're going to want these upgrades for pretty much all of our apartment buildings. Are there 2 that aren't constructed yet? I think that's our issue. Alright. So completely revamping everything, but in the end it'll be fine. So let's move in. Oh, the newspaper. That's what I was thinking about. Let's do a newspaper here, I'd say. Oh, here's where we needed this upgrade. Max out the budget there. Playback equipment, 10,000. We don't have the electricity really for that. This is doing good. That's doing great. Max out the budget here. This waste treatment facility, let's move this into here. Cool, so now this little city block has almost everything that they could possibly need. We're gonna need another newspaper. Guaranteed. Let's do that perhaps here. If we do it at the end of the block, then that leaves us quite a bit of space here to work with. Let's do that, and then kind of what I'm thinking is, what if we do we have a casino around here somewhere for our population? I don't think I ever made one. Let's do that. Let's do a casino. Alright, you know what? I'm actually glad that I started this all over. Just because these are going to be a lot more fun to sort of piece together, I would say. That's all looking good, and then we should, just to be kind of cool with it, what if we do an office? I feel like that would be really, really nice. We can do an office like this, and then we can even do another modern apartment this time. Like that, I would say. This leaves us a little bit of room for a park here. And then a bit of room for some parks like this. Cool. So this is all looking really, really nice. And so we have a little bit of space over here for something. I'm thinking another modern apartment, then maybe another one here. Or another office. Too bad there's only too bad there's not a whole lot of, what's it called, skyscraper buildings, or there's like not a lot of variation amongst them. That's something that I always think is a bit sad. Casino, gourmet restaurant, nightclub. Maybe we just do another restaurant somewhere. So we could do another skyscraper here, and then maybe just another one here, and then perhaps a restaurant here. Is there any other like service buildings that we're gonna need that I'm forgetting about? I think we just about got everything taken care of. Police station. Perhaps just more entertainment buildings. Just don't want to forget anything. We could do a high school for like the people living here. That'd probably be a good idea. Not right next to the cabaret though. We could do it right here. I think this is actually a pretty good spot for it. Because then that leaves us enough room for, what's it called here, skyscraper there. Yes, let's do that. And then out in front of the school we can do We could fit in a square here. I think that would be pretty neat. Let's do that. Yeah, you know what? I don't like the change in what's it called? The tile so abruptly.
By my calculations, you have
We should honestly research the high schools and change them all to a parochial education. Let's do the square, no, not square, but it's a park 2x3, this one. I think that would look pretty neat here. I think that looks good. And we'll leave it, the tiles are fine. And then we need some 2x2 parks. 2x2 squares are going to be a bit normal looking, I'd say. A bit more normal looking. We can do 2 of them like that. And then here we can do this. That. That. What do we want around this area? Maybe... What if we do something just different? Something cool looking. What if we do that? And then a 2x3 and then a different 2x1 on the opposite side. That looks kind of cool. Now what do we want over here? What I need to think about. Red star, red star. So we want to change this one to the word. So now everyone on the city block will be being pushed towards the, what's it called that we want? Let's get water coolers. I mean, we have so much money, it should be okay. But we're pushing everyone towards the desired factions, which would be really nice. Max out the budgets on these. Upgrade solar panel windows. Bump up the budget just a tad bit. Are you on refuse incineration? You are. And so the idea is that it's going to be just like this hyper dense cluster of buildings that are going to be really nice to walk through, surrounded by all sorts of skyscrapers, and everyone's going to be in the same class, which will be really, really nice. Right? So hopefully this is probably just a lot of people who haven't quite found a job yet. I doubt it's because their jobs don't give a good wage. Yeah, it's just a bunch of unemployed people. We just need a couple more jobs. High school educated people, lots of high school jobs. They should be fine with a bit of time. Who's on duty? High school education there. What else do we want to do? There was something else that I was thinking about here. How are we doing in terms of radio stations as well? They're still doing fine, so don't need to worry about that. There's room here for like one more little compound of buildings, and I'm not sure exactly what I want to put here. You know what? What if everyone produces their own food in like their own little city block? That could be pretty wicked, I would say. I think that'd be super wicked. What if we do like, you know, corn plantation? Everyone's got their own corn plantation. They just grow their own crops right here. Or bananas. Or pineapples. Or what about even a fish farm? That could be pretty intense. I like it. Let's do it. Let's do that there, and then let's put in another modern apartment here, and then just square up the rest of this. A 2x3 square we can do. I'm thinking this one, and then I think this is what, a 2x2 anniversary park. Why not? And we have two 2x2s which we can fit in with. You know what? What if we do this one and then this one? I think that looks nice. quick build all of this just to see what the final product's gonna look like. And that is every little last bit of this area used up. So there's no pollution here. They're gonna be producing their own food. Bigger tanks, fish farm unaffected. Increased production rates, consumes 25 additional electricity. Production rate. Bigger tanks, yeah, it seems like a good one. Supply local markets. Gourmet restaurants, C-Lab studies, workers require college education, wages are increased. That's probably actually a really good idea. I mean, it's not like super important, right? Increased replenishment rate up to bonuses scaled with the employment quota of the fish farm. Decreases efficiency. Decreases efficiency? I mean, not good actually. So let's just leave that. Max out budgets here. Freezer upgrades. Cloth napkins, we can just leave it on that. Want to max out as many of the budgets as possible. Parochial education, maxed out. Maxed out. As high as we can get it. And what if we move this solar power plant over here? So that the people who work in this will be right next to like the zones, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What if we just do one city block that's one step, like 1 square wider? I mean, we could, but then again, oh, I should have demolished the commando garrison a long time ago. Let's demolish that now. Then again, I mean, we could just move this all the way over to the edge. That's a bad idea. And we'll leave this one for now. I mean, for right now, we'll leave it. It'll probably be fine. Cool. So now, this is what we're going to be making, right? So, as you can see, we have a lot of these squares, and that is going to be the new method to the madness. Something like that. Oh, you know what? We needed to fit in Teamsters offices amongst all of that hoopla that was going on over here. I mean, for now, we can just move this one here. That'll probably be fine. And yeah, that'll be really, really cool. So it'll take a bit of time to sort of go through and change everything. But in the very least, no matter what, everyone will be part of the well-off class. All we got to do, the last thing, is make sure that Social Security, as you can see, it's already up to $9 a month. All we got to do is get this up to $10 a month. And then every single person on the entire island will be well off. No matter what, from now until the end of time. As long as you have a job, right? As long as you have a job, or you go to a school, or if you're even just retired, as long as you're up to something, you'll be well off. And that'll be really, really, really cool to see in the end. Yes. But I think that is going to be where we end up stopping for today. Pretty much this entire city block here is what we're going to tile up pretty much this entire map with. That's what I want to see, is nothing but these right here, and then everything will just be absolutely perfect. It'll be really, really, really cool in the end. I mean, I could probably get away with like demolishing a couple more roads and then simply, yeah, you know what, I mean, screw it, let's do, well, no, I think that how we have it now is good. Ideally, though, if I would have straight up started from the very beginning with this idea, I would have extended these like blocks all the way down, probably made them just like a couple spaces wider and put more parks in the center. As you can see, like there is parks in the middle, but I would have made it just a little bit wider, like 2 or 3 blocks, just so that there would have been like a wide open commons area for people to go walking on through. But yeah, once this place is like pushed up to the maximum. I think it's going to be a really, really cool island to see in full function. Yes. And just for like a quick recap, real quick, I will save the game and I'll switch over to the other communist island that I did a long time ago just to sort of show an example. Ooh, and so it's been quite a while since I've actually looked at this island, but as you can see, it is quite something to behold, right? Like, it's really, really cool. This was one of my favorite islands that I ever constructed because just all the like thought and planning that went into it. As you can see, the entire island runs off of the electricity up here, and we have 1,100 people, and if you look at that, we have one well-off person, and it's someone who works in an office and they're not married yet. So once they get married to someone who makes less than $10 a month, then they'll be in the poor class as well. Every single person, as you can see, unless they don't have a job, of course, but pretty much everyone's a part of the poor class. And so that was like a pretty cool thing that I was going for. And as you can see, we're sort of like, we have these wide open areas connected up to roads, and then we have the housing, and then behind these is like more just like stuff for the population, right? Like we got churches here, we got a clinic down here. These are the theaters on the improv theater work mode. Real quick, we'll look at the politics, intellectuals. We pushed everyone towards all of this stuff over here on the left, except for the communists, which is on the right side over here. And as you can see, we make those factions very, very happy. And if we press play for just a moment, you have 86 support, 86% support. We're producing like some of every single good. And yeah, this was a really, really fun island to put together. And this is our embassy area over here. And yeah, this is sort of like what I want to do. As you can see, like, it's all about just like wide open common areas and not driving. This one did have a couple other things, like we could use bus stops and stuff like that. But okay, well, hold up real quick. This is the video that we're on. This is the third island that I've done like communism on, and so this was the one that I was like the most happy with, but the one that was like the most developed is the first attempt I ever did. So we'll go and check that one out real quick.
You have done it, President.
All right, and so this is the communist utopia that I did the most on, but there was a lot of pollution. It's not nearly as like flawless, I would say. We have a military. We were getting like invaded and stuff like that, but these are like the commons that I was more so thinking of here. As you can see, it's like, you know, you got these long wide open areas. There's like 10 billion cameras on you at all times, and there's just like a lot of walking around that you can do, surrounded by the residential buildings sort of up on the side. And as you can see, metro stations, of course. And the cool thing about this island was, or well, like my plans now are to do pretty much like these city blocks. Like, look at how big this city block is. It's just a ginormous square, and we fit in a couple of roads to sort of reach in and do certain things, right? This is a ginormous industrial zone here, but look how big this city block is. Like, it's pretty massive. And then again here, another huge city block. So I think the ones that we're working on right now and like the episode that we're on, they're quite a bit smaller than this. They're probably like around this big. But I think it'll be fine in the end. And so you can just imagine doing something similar to this, except, you know, with skyscrapers and everyone's well off. And it was such a challenge on these first two attempts at communism. Because, you know, we had to keep everyone's wages below $10 a month. Like, every single job place. Like, the clinics, how do you get, you know, healthcare to people? And it's like, well, we just had to deal with the only, like, the lowest budget medical building that we had, which is clinics on the lowest budget, which, you know, alongside, and this was before the childhood museum was fixed. I swear, whenever I made this island, religious fostering did not work, and so we didn't get that 5% bonus to clinics. I think we had like 60, either 69 or 65 service quality, and that was just across the board, like forever. You know what? I reckon that we can go and look at happiness, healthcare 70. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken, but either way, like, it was just such a challenge. And so that's why I was like really excited to start up a new communism island and push everyone into the well-off wage. This one's not nearly as clean. Like if we go and look at wealth, like there's some, you know, well-off people, and this is all due to certain buildings like power plants. Even on the lowest budget, like you're still just gonna be making $10 a month, right? Like there's just nothing that I could really do about it. And so on the second attempt, of course, you know, it's like, oh well, let's just make, you know, nothing but, oh, you know what? I just realized that I made both these first communist islands on the same exact island. But we're going to be a lot more ambitious with the current island that we're on. Like, as you can see, I kept it pretty small, like super dense communism over here, and then pretty much nothing else anywhere else. But with the new one, I want to take my time and, of course, expand out as far as we can, get every single part done. And like I was saying, we're already pretty close to having more people on the third attempt than any of the other communism islands that I've done previously, right? And so, yeah, this is pretty much like the plans. Straight up this, but skyscrapers and, you know, cathedrals and colleges. And on this island, I don't even think that I had really the budget for any colleges, so we're just dealing with nothing but like high school students. And then for the clinics, we had to hire in all of the doctors and stuff. But either way, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to stick around for the rest of the Tropico 6 perfect communism run, then be sure to subscribe. Peace.